What are the best ways to get online coaching clients from Instagram? We're talking organic today. We're going to rank the best ways to get clients. I don't know why people struggle to get online coaching clients from Instagram. There are so many different ways. We've got a few evergreen options that I'm going to explain to you, and then we've got some campaign-based ones that are maybe launch-like, or you can run once a month, once a quarter, twice a year, once a year, whatever. You don't have to do all of these, but in theory, you probably could. Let's dive straight in. So the first one that we're going to cover is a giveaway campaign or a giveaway launch, right? You've probably seen these before. The idea is you do a post, there's a main prize, a top prize, maybe 3 months or 6 months of free coaching and a few more goodies. And then there's a runner-up prize. And you can either limit the number of runner-up prizes. So let's say 3 people, 5 people, 10 people will win runner-up prizes, or you can just pitch the runner-up prize to everybody who enters that doesn't win the main prize. And that runner-up prize is where you make money, right? So the runner-up prize, for example, could be 3 months of coaching for half price, right? And that's the downside, right? This is the reason people may think, oh, I don't want to devalue my service, or I don't want to do discounted, or I don't want to work with people for half price. Let's flip this a second and say, if you are running paid ads, you have a client or a customer acquisition cost. You can frame this in the same way, right? Let's say you charged £1,000 or $1,000, and you were doing 3 months of half price coaching, then your customer acquisition cost is £500. The only difference between paid is you don't have to pay the 500 to get the 1,000 back. You just make 500, right? And that's it. So the downside is delivering a discounted service for 3 months. But the upside is, number one, volume, right? You'll get so many clients from doing this if you do it well. Number two is, and this goes unnoticed, this is an opportunity for you to really pitch your service. Just think if you did an Instagram post saying, this is what my coaching is, people just don't listen, right? Whereas if you say, here's what you can win, and then you talk about how amazing your coaching is, and people are more likely to consume it. So people, even if they don't buy from you, even if they don't take you up on the offer, will consume information about what your coaching is and actually how great it is, which moves them down the funnel, right, for the future. So we get volume. We get an opportunity, by the way. The goal for you, your job is to retain people after the discounted period. Like, don't get me wrong, you generate revenue up front, but then there's more money in retaining these people as well. The downside is, or you could say the downside is, a discounted period of working with people. So I'm actually going to put this in A tier. One of the reasons being it's not an S tier, you can't run it all the time. You would probably burn out your audience if you tried to. It's not evergreen, right? So next up is challenge funnel, right? So this could be a free challenge or a paid challenge. Here's an example, not a great example of a post promoting a free challenge, right? So this is where you have maybe a few days leading up, you pitch a 7-day, 3-day, 5-day free program, whatever it may be. You spend those 3, 5, 7 days building amazing relationships, really nurturing, getting people a result, positioning yourself as an authority, and then selling to people off the back of it. I'm going to give this by the way, all of these work. I'm going to put this in B because there's a heavy fulfillment cost to this, right? You have to work with these people for free for 3, 5, 7 days. And a lot of people will be like, oh, it's a free service, so I'm going to deliver less. But you shouldn't, right? You should give people an amazing experience, go above and beyond, so that they are more likely to sign up to work with you. That's often a mistake people make with these. Because it's a free challenge, they will do less for the people that sign up to them, and then people don't upsell off the back of them, and coaches are like, oh, it was just tire kickers. It wasn't. You just devalued your service and didn't present yourself in the best light. But I would say B, you can't do this all the time. You could probably do it more frequently in a giveaway. You could probably do it every month, every other month. But because of the fulfillment cost, and you can't do it all the time, in theory, if you're doing it organically, I'm going to put it in B. You could probably go in A as well. So next up, we have a wolf whistle campaign. You've probably seen this and heard it called lots of different things over the years. The typical post is, I'm looking for 5 guys who want to achieve X, Y, Z. Here's a golf-specific one. We're looking for 10 golfers who want to achieve X, Y, Z with this. Message 12 week below to register your interest. So on its own as a standalone post, shit, right? It's not going to perform well nowadays. It used to perform better in the past. the way I teach people to do this and the structure I give to people is to run this campaign for a week, right? So we wrap it up in the coach's story, like a carousel, and then put the CTA on the end, a client result, put the CTA on the end, and then 2 really direct posts like this during the week. And then we also add context in Instagram stories throughout the week, talking about the fact that you're running this campaign on. You may have seen them taking clients on. Here's why, here's what it is, here's how you can get more info. So done well over the course of a week, this will perform okay, but it's not going to perform that well anymore if it's just a one-off post, right? Unless you've never pitched for clients before and there's demand, then it will perform well. But I'm going to say this is probably, I'm going to put this in C. Again, I still get clients to do this frequently because they'll get a handful of clients, but it's definitely not as effective as it used to be. But the fact that you can just post buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit for a week, you'll probably get some clients. Why not, right? So what have we got up next? We've got just DMs. I didn't know what to use as an image for this. So just sending DMs, right? New follower DMs, cold outreach, engage, like sending DMs to people who engage with your content, DMing people who watch your stories, engage with your stories, vote on polls. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. This is S tier, right? The reality is all of these campaigns really could just drive people to DMs, and you chat to people in DMs and then you sell to them from there or get them on a call from there more frequently. So regardless of how you market, the content you post, what you're posting in your Instagram stories, how you proactively push for clients, really we want to be having as many conversations as we can. That's the goal. And I'll put it in S tier because you want to be doing this day in, day out, week in, week out, right? Setting yourself targets for the number of new conversations you have every day, and send yourself targets for qualified conversations, calls booked, sales made from DMs. This is your bread and butter every single day. So I'm going to put it in S tier. Is it easy? Well, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's easier than, most jobs, right? But I know people are uncomfortable with it. It just does take an element of effort and skill to sit down and DM a lot of people. But it works, right? And all these campaigns could be really driven to DMs. Even the giveaway campaign, you're going to have to DM everybody who takes part. Pitching 7-day body challenge, you could automate signups. You could put links in bio, links in Instagram stories, but you're probably going to get more people through chatting with them, sending them DM, right? Manual effort. Same with this, right? Wolf Whistle campaign, people put their hand up and say, yeah, like I'm interested. You chat with them in the DM, you send them a link. So all this stuff is happening via the DMs, really. It's not much link in bio going on. So next up, I'm going to show you one that most people will just not do, right? And that is effectively a free trial. So if you are struggling to get clients, there is no demand for this stuff, right? Because people don't know what you do, or you're working with an audience that is like not sophisticated, so they don't understand what you do. There's no demand, then just take clients on for free and help them and get them results. By the way, this is what I did when I first started working with online clients. I worked with 6 clients for free for 12 weeks. I got them amazing results, documented the whole process. All 6 stayed and worked with me after the 12 weeks. And I had a wait list of people waiting to work with me because I was documenting the process. I'm not saying do it for 12 weeks, but, taking on, this is one of my clients. And what she does is she'll do this, take people on board, work with them for 28 days, I think it is, and then retain them as clients afterwards. It's so easy to get clients this way by doing this, but there's obviously a high fulfillment cost, right? So I'm going to put this at D, right? What's interesting though is at the really high end and large scale, this would probably go up, right? So it works really well at the extreme ends of the spectrum in terms of where your business is at. If you're struggling to get going, it's a great method. If you're in the middle and people are buying from you and you can get some clients, probably don't do it. And then if you're at an operational scale where you can handle fulfillment, you have a team, it becomes really great again because you'll get a lot of leads, a lot of people saying yes, and you have the infrastructure to deliver the free service to these people for 28 days and then retain them. So it's most effective at either ends of the spectrum of business size, but not so much in the middle. High fulfillment cost, but you will get clients from doing this. Let's put it in D. So next up, we've got lead magnets, right? So this is just taken from a carousel from me pitching a lead magnet for a list of negative hooks, right, for Instagram. So you've probably seen that, seen this stuff like comment below and I will send you X, Y, Z. I'm going to put this in C. However, I want most people to be doing this. It's a CTA. It's good for engagement. It gets people putting their hand up and giving you permission to DM them, because you have to send them the link to whatever they're asking for, or start a conversation and then send them the link, or just get them booked in for a call instead. So there's lots of upside to this, and it's kind of evergreen. I'm not putting it in evergreen here, but you can do this. You can put CTAs in your content every day if you want to for free stuff, depending on how frequently you're publishing content. But even if it's just twice a week, right, it's fine. It kind of is evergreen, I suppose. The issue that I have with it is most of you watching this don't implement the back end that makes this effective, right? So really what we want is everybody who comments on a post saying, yeah, send me the free thing, we then get them in a conversation and we try to sell to them. We try and get them on a call, right, in the DMs. That's the goal. And at the same time, we're trying to grow our email list. We get them to opt in to get the free thing. But then most of you aren't emailing very effectively or at all. So this is effective if you're using it as an opportunity to get more and more qualified conversations and have more and more conversations, and or if you are emailing effectively. Less so if you're not doing those things. Maybe I'm going to put it in between B and C. I'm going to put it in B. What have we got here? So Instagram story funnels, evergreen. What you guys should be doing is several times per week, posting in your Instagram stories in a way that starts conversations. So let's say it's a client result. You share some of the problems they were struggling with, and then a poll. Do you struggle with this? Or what do you struggle with most? That's challenge versus challenge, right? What do you struggle with more, training or nutrition? Or if you're a business, if you're a B2B, what do you struggle with more? Getting leads or closing leads? What are you struggling with more with right now? Is it paid advertising or organic content, right? Challenge versus challenge. And then you DM everyone, right? If you help people with both, like if you're an online fitness coach and you help people in training and nutrition, and the poll is, what do you struggle with most, training or nutrition? Whatever they vote on, you DM them and be like, get in a conversation, whatever your DM flow is, and try and get them booked in for a call. It could be aspiration versus aspiration. What's your main goal? Is it losing weight? Is it building muscle? Is it getting fit? And again, whatever they choose, if you can help them with that, get them in a conversation. Or it could be this kind of poll: would you feel more comfortable in your clothes if you were leaner? Yes, no. Would you feel less stressed if you were making more money, right? Would your children have a better life if you were making more money? I could ask emotive questions like that. So again, this is probably, I'm going to put this up here with like S tier and A, like here, because it's something that you can do frequently. And honestly, like Instagram stories are the best place to sell on social media right now. So it's evergreen. It's great for starting conversations. You almost pre-qualify people and they put their hand up and say, yeah, I'm struggling with this thing, or yeah, I want this thing, or yeah, I would feel better if I was in this place, or yeah, I feel bad right now. And then you can start a conversation from there. So what have we got left? This one is a VSL funnel, so a video sales letter. So this is effectively sending people to a VSL, either gated or ungated. So that just means either behind an opt-in, so you capture their email address, or you just don't ask for an opt-in. Again, it depends on whether you make use of that opt-in. Like if you don't email people effectively, then don't make people opt in, right? So VSL, if you are B2C, especially if you are working with clients in the UK, just not that effective, right? Hard to frequently push people to this. Like, what are you going to do? Like somebody says, yeah, I'm interested. And you're like, okay, cool. Go and watch this 20-minute video. No, you you're going to try and have a conversation with them in the DMs, right? So from an organic perspective, VSLs aren't great. Like you could have a link in your bio that's just there and it can kind of mop up traffic that don't start a conversation. They can go and learn about what you do and your offer and see your pitch and then maybe buy from you or book a call. But for the most part, from organic, it's just not going to be that effective. So I'm actually going to put this in D because it's evergreen as well, right? It's not as if it's an event like the challenge funnel or like this, which is a webinar funnel, right? So a live webinar is what I'm referring to here. So a live webinar is something that you can run maybe once a month. I've got clients doing this at the minute where they're doing like 2-3 per month from paid and organic, driving traffic to them and crushing. So a live webinar is event-based. There's a reason for people to show up and sign up. So it's probably similar to a challenge funnel. If you are B2C, this is going to be less effective because consumers just are less likely to, number one, show up at a set day and time to tune into something live. There's going to be an hour, 2 hours long because they want to learn, right? It's just very unlikely. They're less likely, sorry. If you are B2B, webinars will crush, right? So I would put webinars. I should do more webinars. Let's put them in A, right? Because they're not evergreen, but it's the kind of launch or campaign that you can, like I said, do every single month, help people, build authority, add value, and pitch, and get calls booked. So the reality is you should probably be doing several of these, right? So you should definitely be having as many conversations as possible every day. You should be doing Instagram story funnels and polls and starting conversations that way every week. You should be getting people to comment below for lead magnets to start conversations and get calls booked. In fact, really, that's the main goal. Every week, several times per week. And then everything else is a case of throughout the year in your calendar, you should have them scheduled. So let's say a giveaway campaign 4 times a year. There's opportunities for an influx of clients. If you are B2B, a webinar once a month or once a quarter or every other month. If a 7-day challenge, again, or 3, 5, 7-day free challenge every other month or once a quarter. And by the way, you can do paid group programs as well. That's completely fine. And use that as a way to acquire clients, get paid front end, and upsell off the back of it. Wolf Whistle campaign, just being really direct every other month or once a quarter. So straight away, you end up with all these, by the way, all of these work if done well, except maybe the VSL. Like most of you just don't need to do that from organic. Most of you don't need to do the free trials because you are somewhere in the middle. So everything else is stuff that you should probably do, right? Any questions, let me know. Hopefully this has been valuable. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.